Verts just on 18 hours gone. Rally Otago, round 2 of the New Zealand Rally Championship, and Richard Mason had the advantage on day 1. It was an edge-of-the-seat finale on day 2.
Day 1 at Otago produced 3 leaders. Dean Sumner the first to top the time charts before Hayden Paddon stormed through the Otago forest to snatch the lead. But Richard Mason was stalking the young gun and the time started to tumble, along with some of the competitors.
We had a bit of understeer and ended up getting wide in a ditch and punched into a rock. So unfortunately hit that and ended up catapulting down onto the river flat here.
Mason had to wait till the final stage, but it was game, set and match across the finish line to take a 14-second victory.
It was good to be pushed and really a bit of chasing there and got it on the last stage, which was fantastic.
On day 2, we head to the Highlands, the moonscape around Middlemarch, as the chase for the championship continues. It's Rally Otago, round 2 of the Vantage Aluminium Joinery New Zealand Rally Championship. Once again, it's the Southern Cross Hotel in downtown Dunedin. The start for the drivers. Richard Mason first away, but how would he go against the Mitsubishis?
Yeah, a bit rainy today. There's a bit of concern that there could be some snow on the stages, but I think it's quite mild, so if there is any snow, it'll only be a small amount.
It's just a typical Otago rally weather, I guess. It's a nor'wester rain, so we're heading north, so we're going a wee way up there, and we're not sure exactly what the weather's going to be like up there, but and hopefully it's raining. We've got some soft tyres on, anticipating for the rain and the damp roads.
Roads a little bit faster out there today?
They are. They're very fast, with the exception of the last one, which is obviously a repeat of day 1's last stage. So in theory they should suit us. We're all setting good times on day 1 in the fast stages, so we'll try and do the same again today.
So as Richard and Sarah Mason depart Dunedin City, let's check out the stages with the Vantage Aluminium Joinery Stage Preview.
Day 2 of my home event, Rally of Otago, starts north of Dunedin with the famous Ramrock Road stage. This stage was used for the first time last year and is just an amazing stage to drive on. Starting on the coast out near Wakawaiti, we rally 29 kilometres into the fringes of central Otago and the start of the rail trail at Middlemarch. The stage is very fast but also has some steep, tight sections and also some narrow sections over crests. There's a high chance of snow or ice as we get closer to Middlemarch. The second stage, Moonlight, is another cool stage. It starts with a narrow, tight hill climb before opening out into a fast, flowing road. After service in Middlemarch, we head out to 2 new stages. Hartfield is 18 kilometres long and quite different in character to the stages we drove on day 1. The roads near Middlemarch tend to be a bit flatter without a lot of camber and not so many big crests like traditional Otago County Road stages. Stage 12, Longdale, is 13 kilometres long and of similar character to Hartfield before it. We now head back to our only repeat stage of day 2, Moonlight. The stage should be a lot faster this time through, as all the loose gravel should have been swept away by the whole field that now driven over the stage. After service, we start heading back towards Dunedin. Although our day is far from over, we still have the longest stage of the rally to complete, Glen Burnie. We completed this 42 kilometre stage on day 1 and it'll be interesting to see the state of the road when we come back for a repeat today. The potential for punctures will be even higher as big rocks may have been pulled out on Saturday. The stage is still long enough to go for a big charge and potentially change the overall results for the day and even the weekend. After the stage, we head back into the Octagon, the finish ceremony of the second round of the Vantage Aluminium Joinery New Zealand Rally Championship.
And starting clear, crisp conditions in the Otago Highlands after some overnight rain.
4, 3.
Last year, Richard Mason hit a large rock on the stage, but he survived and went on to win the rally. So expert comments, Roger Davis. Wonder if he'll have a lucky run again this year.
Well, he's certainly hoping for a good run. He's got a little bit offline there as he's coming into this right-hander, but these roads probably won't suit the Subaru.
It's pretty remote up here, and this is one of the few farms on the road which actually runs through the farmyard at this point. Back at the start, Hayden Paddon will be wanting a good time here. He's shown on day 1 that he can match Richard Mason's pace.
Yes, and today is his opportunity because whilst they don't suit the Subarus, they will suit the Mitsubishis, these fast roads. He's gone for the soft tyres as well, and the conditions are a little bit wet, so he could be on the perfect tyre.
So Patton looking strong through here. Remember, both Mason and Patton running Dunlop tyres as well. Third on the road after a good result on day one, Emma Gilmore.
2-1.
Next through the stage. Important here that she's on the pace right from the get-go.
200.
Very important for her to be on the pace straight away. She's shown a lot of consistency, just needs to get a little bit more speed and then run with the top two.
Right, don't cut. 90. Gate. 200.
So Emma passes through the farmyard on her way to the finish. Let's check out Mason go back on board as he comes down to that finish line.
And look how fast the road is through here.
200, small crest, 18, 6 right, open.
This is fast.
6 right, open, finish. 200.
Whoa, down to the finish, 16:17.1. Well, that's 22 seconds down on last year's pace. So how will Patton go?
It's left to 120. Fast, short, fast.
Well, again, he's on the far section towards the end, and we saw how Richard attacked that last corner. Will Hayden Patton do the same?
Over finish. 100.
Down to the line, looks like he's going to be a wee bit slower. Yes, 16:24.3, that's 7 seconds slower. Now we're on board with Emma Gilmore.
Small crest.
Well, listen to this car. They're absolutely tapped out in top gear.
Up 5 right, over small crest, open to 6.
And she's going to be slower, though. 16:44. That'll hurt if she wants to stay in third place. Here's the extra power now, the Group A engine. You'd expect Andrew Hawkswood to do well here, but on day one, of course, he had handling problems.
550.
Well, on day two, he'll probably have handling problems as well because he's starting to run out of tyres, and tyres will be fairly crucial on this surface.
Down to the finish for Hawkswood, 16:24.2, just faster than Patton. Jeff Argyle next through the stage, his open class car, not quite up to Hawkswood's pace though, 6th fastest through the stage. On day one, Dean Sumner had led the rally, then chased the leaders through the rest of the day to finish 4th, but only the top 3 cars are resetted on day 2, so Sumner started 7th on the road again.
Well, interesting to note the times are a little bit slower as the field goes through, maybe because the road's a little bit wet. If it was dry, they'd definitely be faster.
6 right plus at tyres, over finish, 250. At 6 right plus at tyres, over finish, 250.
Let's check out Sumner's time as he comes down to the line. 16:46.7. That'll put him in 5th between Gilmore and Argyle. Now, last year, Chris West, he lost a turbo hose and had no power on the stage, so he'd be hoping that bad luck doesn't strike again.
Flat right, crest 80. 6 right plus 50. 5
Well, Chris West is down on power again. You can see how this car really hasn't got a lot of go in it in relation to the Evo 9 of Hayden Patton's.
4 left minus.
So he's going to have to carry a momentum all day.
No surprise then that despite his best efforts, the Canterbury driver just 7th fastest, 51 seconds down on the leader. Junior driver Sloane Cox was 9th through the stage, but he was leading the junior drivers in his Evo 10.
18, gate, 6 right plus. 60, 6 left minus.
Once again, we can hear the notes coming out of Sloane's car with a very basic, easy to listen to pace notes coming from David Calder.
Mid.
Kieran Hall, fastest rookie through the first stage. Kieran just a year too old to be classed as a junior though. Glenn Inkster making up the top 10 after his disastrous day one.
Yes, well, it certainly was disastrous because what happened is he went through the first Ford and basically the brake caliper disintegrated, hit the brakes for the second one, and he had nothing, so he had to go off the road. So this crew have done a lot of work overnight to get this car back on track.
60, 6 left, don't go right, 30. 6
So again, Richard Mason leads on day 2, a much stronger start than on day 1 of the rally, and that will extend his overall lead in the chase for the bonus points.
And let's keep an eye on Sloane Cox in 8th and Kieran Wall in 9th. That could be a big battle today.
And stick around, coming up on Rally Otago, we march into the moonlight. So after a long opening stage, just a short 10-kilometre sprint through moonlight before the service of Middlemarch. Check out that moonscape in the spectator point. Fantastic conditions here in the Otago Highlands. And this guy's really making the most of them, Richard Mason.
Well, looking at the road conditions, it looks like it's swept, but in actual fact, Richard is sweeping the road at the moment for the following competitors.
And that may have slowed him down. His time, 5 minutes 56.8. That would certainly play into the hands of Andrew Hawkes, running 4th on the road. He would actually win the stage with a 5 minutes 49.9.
Well, Andrew Hawkes was amazing driving style. It's incredible. He can actually get very good stage times by the way he drives like this, but he carries so much momentum.
Into sudden 5 left.
So Hawkes would close the gap to Mason by just 0.2 seconds. Hayden Patton made inroads here too. 2 seconds faster than Mason as well. So just 5 seconds separating first to third now. Emma Gilmore, 4th fastest on the stage, so she retains 4th place in the standings, still within 30 seconds of the leaders.
Yes, but that's 30 seconds she now has to catch up, so she lost time on the first stages. Very important to stay on track with the leaders. Also, look at Andrew Hawkes' wheel marks. Quite incredible.
4 right, 150.
And if you watch here how Emma's Group N car stays on the road nice and smooth, yet the Hawkswood car is all over the road.
Talking of the other open class cars, Jeff Argyle moving past Dean Sumner on the stage. Again, this was a tight battle, just 1 second separating the two drivers. So Roger, is that a case of losing advantage because of the low road position?
Well, I don't think it is, because Richard Mason, we saw he was 1 on the road and he really struggled. Dean Sumner should be in a very good position here, being 7 on the road, but not quite working for him at the moment.
We're on our notes now.
Interesting. Paul Fallon's just said they're on their own notes, so maybe the other notes weren't really working for them.
Talk about working for them. Westie's struggled with the lack of power here. I wonder how he's going now.
Tightens into 3 right plus.
Well, very slowly, especially on this uphill section. This car is definitely down on power, and it must be frustrating. Chris West really has to carry a lot of speed in the corner to keep the momentum going in this car.
Same piece of road, Chris West on the left, Hayden Patton on the right. Who's going to get to the top of the road first? You decide.
Long, opens and tightens to 3 right minus, into 2 left. And 4 right plus 60. Flat crest 80.
So Hayden Patton's done it for you. So Chris West in a real battle developing for 8th place. Sloane Cox still held the position, but the gap to Kieran Hall was just 2.4 seconds.
Plus, don't cut 15.
Well, Sloane Cox is going for the Junior Championship this year.
Right.
He's a leading competitor. You can only win it once. Hayden Patton won it last year. Even though he's still under 25, right, he can't do it again. So it could be a good year for Sloane. It's a goal that he's going to target for this year.
Junction, don't cut 100.
And besides that goal of getting some great experience in the championship, he's also the leading driver in the new Evo 10s. And after cutting his teeth in the Rally Extreme Series, also a big step forward for Kieran Hall. And Glenn Inkster just 8.6 seconds behind him. So these three really responding to the competition.
And just look how you throw those open cars round corners like that. Like we said before, they've got mechanical diffs. They haven't got computerised diffs. And basically a mechanical diff, the car is set before the rally starts. However, the computerised diff, the technology is a lot better. It's constantly adjusting the traction as they go through the stages.
Outside the top 10, Josh Marsden making steady, if not spectacular, progress at 11th. And after struggling with grip or lack of it all through day one, Matt Jansen now had a car that was handling strange after, of course, he had to repair the damage from his big prang in stage 8.
But the key here is he's still going, he's still getting points, and that's crucial for the championship, the junior championship that he's chasing with Sloane Cox.
A big battle brewing for the fastest two-wheel drive with a surprise outcome. Ben Jagger, the early leader on stage 9, picking up where he left off on day 1. But on stage 10, Rob Wiley showed that his classic Nissan still has some legs. He was equal with the young Nelson driver Ben Hunt on stage 9, 0.1 second faster on stage 10, where they both overtook Jagger. We'll see more of Rob Wiley in our Otago Classic Rally coverage coming up in a few weeks' time, which of course runs in parallel with this championship rally. So Ben Hunt moved into the Fiesta Trophy lead and trailed Wiley by 0.1 of a second for the fastest two-wheel drive position. Daniel Harris, third in the Fiestas and 16th. And Dominic Unterberger, one place back in the remaining Fiesta. Matt Summerfield had the Skoda in 18th, so leading the open two-wheel drive class. And despite running at the rear of the rally field, Mike Cameron was still in the rally in 19th place and ahead of the Nissan Micra of Reg Cook. Reg having some problems getting the little Nissan up to its potential on this rally and was already 8 minutes down on the leaders. So after 2 stages, it's close to the top. Mason just holding on to the lead by 0.2 seconds.
Dean Sumner just a second off the top 5 position, and Sloane Cox leads the juniors.
And Rob Wiley just edged in front of Ben Hunt for two-wheel drive. Now, Middlemarch is normally a sleepy town at the start of the world-renowned Otago Rail Trail. It's 2 wheels rather than 4 that populate the roads and tracks, but today the AMP showgrounds are the central hub of the rally.
Andrew, good start this morning. You won a stage.
Yeah, no, it's been good. I'm starting to find a bit of form now. It's sort of a little bit rusty yesterday, but no, it's good.
The roads suit you out there?
Yeah, definitely fast and, a lot of crests and that. Really, I really enjoy the roads down here.
Richard, 0.2 ahead of Andrew Hawkes was the battle now.
Yeah, it's good to see that Andrew's stepped up to the game this morning, and I don't know, we'll see what happens.
These stages fairly quick?
Yeah, they are quite fast. They're not really suiting our car that well, but nevertheless, they're quite enjoyable. I like the fast stuff.
Hayden, looks like Richard got a blinder on that first one, just a little bit down on him through there.
Yeah, all in all, not too bad. He took a bit of time out of us here last year, but from our point of view, it was a good stage. There was a bit of loose stuff that we continued to struggle on, but other than that, no complaints.
You got Richard on the second stage, but Andrew Hawksell doesn't a flyer there through it too.
Yeah, so Andrew did a bit of a flyer and put on a bit of a show for the crowd, which is what we want to see. But it was a better stage. Like the downhill fast stuff suits the Mitsubishis a bit better, I think. So the next 2 stages are much like that as well, flat roads but very fast. So if we can try and take advantage of that and get some more time out of Richard, that'd be good.
Coming up after the service of Middlemarch, it's flat out to McRae's Flat in Rally Otago. All the cars in the Vantage Aluminium Rally Championship run on unleaded 98 pump gas, and Motorsport New Zealand Technical Services are on hand to check that all the fuel is of the correct standard.
We select cars at random at service parks and refuel zones and check for specific gravity and conductivity of the fuel. We use Anton Par fuel testing device. It tells us the specific gravity of the sample, which is 0.755, which is exactly what we'd expect to see. If it's illegal, it'd be well over 0.755, or it'd be much lower than that. Avgas, for example, we'd expect to see 0.69 or around thereabouts.
3 short stages now before another service of Middlemarch. Stage 11, Hartfield, takes the cars north towards McRae's Flat. Richard Mason coming under pressure now from Andrew Hawkswood. Could this be a sniff of victory for the open class cars?
Well, maybe it could be, because the roads will certainly suit the open class cars. But Richard Mason, he's really got to try hard. The roads probably won't suit him down here, but he's really got to do something about it if he's going to win today. And he's got to do it fairly quickly.
8 right, 50. Absolute small crest, 300.
You can see how these roads are dead straight, and Sarah says the finish will be soon as she looks along a dead straight piece of road. Those certainly will suit the open cars.
47 left over absolute crest.
Look how fast this stage is. Mason down towards the finish line. He's certainly good at driving quickly.
Yep.
Will it be quick enough?
Right? I don't know.
9 minutes 36.9. Of course, Hayden Paddon running 2 on the road, but not a lot of gravel on this stage, so no real advantage over Mason.
No, it looks like everybody's got swept roads. The key here is to stay in the road tracks. Hayden's slightly offline there. Now, if you get offline, there's a lot of loose gravel outside the line, so it's very important to stay in that line because you'll lose a lot of time when you get out of it.
Mid-crest, break 50, short.
And a real battle of tactics too, because both drivers are running on Dunlop tyres.
180 to finish, back 7 left plus over crest. Back 7 right plus 100.
Gee, he's got some speed. Looks like Paddon is going to be faster. 9:23.7. He'll take the lead from Mason. But will it be enough to hold off Andrew Hawkswood?
Long crest, 80, 8 right.
Well, you can see Andrew a little bit off the road there, but this stage should suit him with the open car. But Hayden Paddon has pulled an absolute blinder through this stage.
6 right minus.
Now will Hawkswood go for the doctor?
7 left over.
Well, I can tell you now, he'd have that foot hard down on that throttle, as hard as it would go.
It's not going to be hard enough, though. Look at that. He's already going to be slower than Paddon.
7 right. Go.
He missed it. He missed the finish line. He backed off.
9:37.5, and he drops to third. So drama for Andrew Hawkswood right at the finish. Emma Gilmore now holding on to fourth through here, but she was allowing the top 3 to run away. The gap to Hawkswood now 35 seconds, so it already looks like she's slightly off the pace today. Chris West had his family down from Timaru spectating in a helicopter, and it must have given him some motivation as he really pushed through the stage to be the 4th fastest. He was now 15 seconds behind Sumner in 7th overall. Jeff Argyle moved into 5th, overtaking Dean Sumner on this stage. Despite finishing 4th on day 1 and one stage leading the rally, of course, Sumner still running 7th on the road, as only the top 3 were reseated overnight, remember.
Well, maybe it is penalising him. The roads were a little bit soft and a little bit wet, so it could be a little bit cut up. He's not getting the traction that the other guys are getting, and he's dropping away stage for stage.
Kieran Hall took 8th place here despite a spin. The young Nelson driver starting to match the times of Weston Gilmore. Inkster was a man on a mission. After such a disappointing day 1, Inky was making steady progress to pass Sloane Cox, but he was also slipping back from Hall. So now the comparison between on board with Glenn Inkster on the left-hand side of your screen and the modern technology of the Evo 10 and Sloane Cox on the right-hand side of your screen.
And Clint, this is where you can see the open car on the left-hand side. They tend to throw it in a lot more oversteer coming off the turn, but the car on the right-hand with the computer diff, they drive it and it goes round the turn like it's on rails.
Before we travel to stage 12, Otago Rally is also an international classic car rally. This year's star driver was Alistair McRae in a BDA Escort, and coverage of that rally is coming up in a few weeks. But it's a great chance for our New Zealand Classic champion to go head-to-head with 30 other competitors in addition to competing in the New Zealand Championship.
Rob, a lot of classic cars here, but only a few doing the actual championship.
Yes, I don't know why. The cars are genuinely eligible, and it would be wonderful to see them in the championship. I mean, I had no chance ever of getting a championship, and I've been rallying for years. And then this came along, and we won last year. And it's a fantastic series. It's more than just 5 rallies. It's a great series. You know, you get together on the recce, and there's a lot of social side of it too. And I've really enjoyed it. More than just going in a series of 5 rallies, you know.
So hopefully, Rob, from the classic point of view, we can get some more cars in this championship.
It'll be wonderful to have them, and I'd love to see them all involved.
And talking about classic Tonka toys, check this out. Stage 12 is just off McRae's Flat Road, just a few kilometres from this massive gold mining operation, which has carved its way into the central Otago landscape. And speaking of carving, that's exactly what Hayden Paddon was doing. His lead was 8 seconds going into the stage, but he knew that Richard Mason could still claw back in the long final forest stage.
Well, it's very important that Hayden Paddon builds a big enough buffer for that last stage, because Richard will come back at it. But this stage here will suit the Mitsubishis.
150, K left, K200.
Remember, the Evos love it fast and furious. The Subis love it tight and twisty. Paddon's time, 6 minutes 50.7. Now Andrew Hawkswood just under a second behind Mason going into the stage. So a good run here through this stage could get him into second.
And he's got a slight advantage because he's on a very good road condition. The other thing is, see how flat the road is here. There's not a lot of camber. Absolutely suits the open cars.
He's going to be slower than Paddon, though.
80.
More drama down to the line. His time, 6 minutes 59.4. So he loses 9 seconds to Paddon. So now Richard Mason, he's got to be within a second of Hawkswood's time to stay second in the rally.
Well, running number one on the road could be a disadvantage for Richard. And the other thing is, these stages are not going to suit the car, as we said earlier.
It's going to be tight. It's going to be close. 7 minutes 01. He holds on to second by 0.1 of a second. Now, this rally's always produced some tight results. It'll be exactly the same this year. Hold on to it in the Gilmore. Now dropping back from those leading three drivers. Nearly a minute down on Paddon now.
The short 4 into 4 left. 150.
Oh, Emma's got a little bit wide there.
90, press mid.
A couple of crests here, and one of the crests, that one there, they get a little bit of air. Something you don't see a lot of in the New Zealand roads.
Jeff Argyle seeing a bit of it, though. He's still in 5th place, 21 seconds down on Gilmore. Still with that long forestry stage to come. No one would be safe without at least a 30-second buffer. Dean Sumner, 6th, just 12 seconds away from Argyle, but his road position was working against him.
Yeah, that's quite surprising, really. I didn't realise it was a lot of moisture in the road, but obviously it's holding Dean up. In fact, he's got quite sideways through the gate there. Let's see if he gets some air coming over here.
120 and long 5 left plus at top of hill.
And Chris West was a man on a mission. Whatever changes they made to the service and the setup to the car was certainly making a big difference. For the second stage in a row, he was in the top 5 stage times, and that was drawing him closer to Sumner. The gap now just 6.3 seconds.
That's a great effort by Chris, because he's obviously down on power, but he's driving with a lot of momentum. He's driving as hard as he can through these roads.
Former winner on the Rally of Otago before, of course. Kieran Hall still holding off the competition for 8th place despite losing time to both Inkster and Sloane Cox on the stage. Inkster, in fact, had closed the gap to 11.7 seconds over these 2 stages, but he had Sloane Cox closing on him.
Oh, Glenn's just gone off. He's gone straight off there. I hope it hasn't done any damage.
Well, he's got something flapping off the side of the car. Perhaps that's the side of the pressure. And making that adjustment from the speed of the Extreme Series to the Championship Series.
5 right.
In fact, Cox was now the fastest of the 3 drivers, making up for losing 2 places in the previous stage. The junior driver now had the bit between his teeth and was just 1.8 seconds behind Inkster. This looked like a battle that would go right down to the finish line, although he's gone off the road.
Not a lot of time lost there, but just got a little bit wide on that one.
Just to make things interesting too, Josh Marston beat all 3 on the stage and moved to within 10 seconds of Cox. Now a 4-way battle for 8th.
Turn 5 left, 60.
12th was probably all that Matt Jansen can hope for in a car that was damaged from the previous day.
Yeah, he's off the road as well, big time. In fact, he's turned the car right round and completely missed that junction, so Matt not having the best of days, but you'd expect him to have a few problems after that big crash on day 1.
And proving that age is no barrier to speed when the car suits the roads, Rob Wiley, the fastest 2-wheel drive in leading classic.
Yes, and they certainly sound good inside these cars. And Rob Wiley come over there. For a minute, I thought he was going straight off.
Oh, give it some herbs.
Well, very cautious through the gate here, and you've got to be like that with these rear-wheel drive cars because they drive from the rear.
Daniel Harris took the lead in the Fiestas on this stage. He was now 14th and less than 2 seconds behind Wiley. Ben Jagger lost 15 seconds with a moment on this stage. As you can see, not the only one to go slightly wide on that corner.
It's created a bit of action in this stage, Clint.
Coming through their gate, that cost him the Fiesta lead, and now he trailed Harris by 6.8 seconds. What would you expect from a farm boy from up north, though? And Ben Hunt now 16th, third in the Fiesta class, another 7 seconds back. Dominic Unterberger still to find the pace of the other Fiesta drivers, but a steady drive means that he's gaining plenty of experience and picking up points. Matt Summerfield starting to find some pace in the Skoda. He beat Hunt on the stage, but had lost too much time in the morning to close the gap overall in the Fiestas. It was the same for Reg Cook. Moments of speed showing, but overall losing too much time to have any impact on the other two-wheel drive cars. Mike Cameron was never going to make a lot of impact in the rally, but in true classic style, the Taranaki farmer was scoring points for the Classic Championship. Could be a bit of a dark horse if Wiley has a DNF. Another sprint through the Moonlight stage before service in Middlemarch. This would be crucial for Mason. Not only must he beat Hawkswood to stay in second, but he can't allow Patton to get any further in front if he's to have any chance to catch him on that long final stage.
Yeah, as Richard gets a little bit wide on there, so he's trying, but this is his opportunity because they've been through this road before and these roads are completely swept now. Although he's looking a little bit ragged here.
Finding that limit and determined to stay on it and stay on the road. His time, 5:48.3, 8 seconds faster than the first run. Right, 17.5 seconds was the gap to Hayden Patton going into the stage.
And again, Hayden also on a very good road, and it's his opportunity to extend that lead a little bit more on Richard Mason and Andrew Hawkswood because he's going to need it going into that big monster stage shortly.
Crest in the fast, 6 left plus, Titan short 5 plus, over finish, 80, right crest.
Has he done enough?
50, short pulling.
5:49.7, that's slower than Mason, so the lead is now 16 seconds. Well, here's the final link in the story. Hawkswood won the stage on the first run through. If he wins it again, he'll move into second and in front of Mason.
Well, absolutely ideal opportunities. Look at the commitment Andrew's driving through there. He's hard up it here.
Crest, 350.
It'll suit the car.
Finish, 6 left, 250.
So the time to beat for Hawkswood to move ahead is 5 minutes 48.1.
Stop.
5:47.6, he's back into second. So Hayden Patton holds the lead, but is it enough? Remember that Mason took 24 seconds off him on day one on that final stage.
Chris West continues to threaten Dean Sumner, while Kieran Hall is the top rookie at the moment.
And Ben Jagger has got back to the Fiesta lead, but he's still 4.8 seconds behind Wiley for first and two-wheel drive.
Those first two of the last three actually went quite well for us. There was definitely room and improvement from my driving point of view, but it obviously suited our car setup and our tyres, and we set a couple of good times. So the stage wasn't quite so nice to us this last one yesterday. Lost a bit of time, so we're going to change the setup a little bit and basically just drive flat out.
Andrew, another stage win.
Yeah, I mean, we're trying pretty hard, and we did what the best we could with what we've got for the moment.
You're currently second overall.
Yeah, that's good. It's good, not bad for an old boy.
Yeah, and you've got Richard 0.6 behind you, and you've got 42 Ks.
It'll be an interesting 42 Ks.
Look, the stages up here have been very fast during the day. The first one this morning was okay, but they've been really, really fast. And like the Mitsubishis, the configuration of them with the restrictors and that, they just go better in that fast stuff. We can't do a lot about that, We're going pretty well as fast as we can without being silly. But we've got that big long stage again this afternoon, and we're hoping to pull a blinder in there.
Kieran, well done with the rookie title on day one. You came home, but you're holding the lead too here at day two.
Yeah, day one was really good for us. We wanted to settle in and get used to the car. Unfortunately, Hawke's Bay wasn't a good round for us, so it was important to get used to the car now and have some fun.
Daniel, you had the lead, but now you're second place, 5 seconds behind Jagger.
Well, the pressure's on for the last stage. It's a pretty tricky stage, that one, so we'll see how we go. As long as we get second, we're going to be happy anyway.
Yeah, but it's 42k. You want to stay in front, don't you?
We'd like to stay in front, but we don't want to biff it either, so we'll see how we go when we get in there.
And coming up, winner takes all. Once again, it's the big decider, the Battle of Berwick Forest. So it's 42 kilometres through the famous Berwick Forest to decide who will be the 2009 Otago Rally champion and who will take out the championship points.
3, 2, 1, go.
Richard Mason first on the road, but remember they've already used the road, so it shouldn't affect his chances. And remember too, on day one, Richard Mason overhauled Paddon on the stage to take the win. Fantastic way to decide the rally. Split time, 15:15:30. So Hayden Paddon must defend his lead from both Mason and an informed Andrew Hawkswood. One mistake could cost him dearly.
Yeah, but he's still got to keep a lot of pace because we know how fast Richard is through the stage. I'd expect Andrew to be very quick too. One thing you've got to be very careful in the stage is with the rocks on the road, having used it in day one, punches could play into this stage.
180. Here, slippy 5 left line.
Remember that split time?
He's well down, well down.
Paddon's 15, 29.7, so in fact he's already behind and the rally leader's gone.
7 right.
Emma Gilmore next through the stage. She was 40 seconds behind Hawkswood and Mason, so unlikely to challenge.
4 right minus.
Well, Emma will be trying, and this stage will suit the Subaru.
Care medium 5 right, tightens over crest to hug 4. Treat it with how much grip you've got. Yep. 70.
Hug, the kit's changing.
Okay. Bump
As Emma's just said, the road conditions changed quite a bit through this stage.
Turn hug 3 right.
So the split time for Emma, 15:36.1. Emma is losing time. So the only question now is Andrew Hawkswood.
2, 1, go. 7 left.
Can he bring up an upset here? He's virtually tied for Mason going into the stage.
200.
Well, this stage probably won't suit Andrew as much as the previous ones did, but I can assure you he'll be on a charge through here. 42 Ks, and he'll be loving it. Already he's throwing the car around with that steering movement.
5 left, 5 right minus in junction.
Yes, Mason's
down
time
on the
15.5. Hawkswood's going to move him 15:25.19, so he's losing time to Richard Mason, who's winding his way perhaps through to another rally victory in Otago.
He's certainly winding all right. He's got a lot of pace on here. Well, there's something wrong with the back of the car. You can hear it. I think he's got a puncher on the right rear. He has, definitely.
That was always the big worry, so disaster for Richard Mason on the very last stage. He had the rally win in his sights, but surely now that'll hand the win to Hayden Paddon and the overall rally as well.
Good job, honey.
And you can hear it and see it.
Richard, flat tyre on the right rear.
Yeah, puncture in there. I don't really remember hitting anything, but hey, I must have chopped it on a piece of wood or something, so that's the way it is, you know.
It'd be a big time loss.
Yeah, big time loss. That's the way it goes.
Well, this man, Hayden Paddon, is now heading for a rally win, but of course he doesn't know that Mason has problems. He still needs to consider that Andrew Hawkswood is going to be a major threat through the Berwick Forest.
He sure does, because Andrew Hawkswood was 4 seconds up on him at the split. So Paddon still has to go for it.
Flat right crest. 100.
And he certainly is. He got air over there, Clint.
Brake on right crest. 100. 4 right.
How much time did Mason lose with that puncture? Quite a bit, as you see, down to the line for Paddon, 24:47.3, 35 seconds quicker.
Hayden Richards had a flat tyre through there, so if Hawkswood doesn't do a blinder, it's your rally.
That's excellent. Oh, that's really good, really good. Like, we struggled in there. We made a few setup changes, and it was really slippery in there compared to what it was yesterday. And the front was washing out in places, and the back was all over the place. And halfway through, we knew that we didn't have a car to catch Richard. So, unfortunate for Richard, but we've had a hard weekend and we've pushed, and this would be a good result if we do win.
So now it's the waiting game as the rest of the field comes through the end of the rally, through this stage. Emma Gilmore down to the line. You saw her losing time before. And yes, confirmation to her time, 25.02, so slightly faster than Mason, but still no threat. So now it's up to this man, Andrew Hawkswood. If he continues on the same pace, he could push Hayden Patton out of that leading position.
Oh, he's just hit something.
Ooh, doggy. Holy
Perhaps pushing too hard.
Oh, we're cool. We've just seem to have a gate to the back of our car, Jacko.
Well, that's not just a little farm gate. That is a big forest gate stuck in that car. A big lump of steel.
Let's go.
Well, he's still going. Wow.
Well, there you can see the damage.
What a dramatic finish here. It looks like a ute. Not like a Mitsubishi.
Well, he's very lucky that it actually came in behind the driver.
Oh, and he's still sideways. How much time's he going to lose, though?
Crest 100.
Heaps.
Crest jump 100. 4 right through finish. Hold on to it.
Can he hold on to third place now, I suppose? That's the big question.
Stop.
Got it to you.
Mate, what's going on here? The roof's gone.
I know.
So unbelievable damage here. And incredibly, he did hold on to third place. Even with the car looking like that.
Andrew, massive damage. What's happened?
Oh, I had a gate post sideways. The whole gate snapped off and came straight through the door here. So
was that towards the end?
No, it was about 12 k's to run.
A lot of damage to the car.
Scary.
So after all that drama, let's take a look at the top 10. Jeff Argyle, lucky to finish 2, second in the open class and 5th, even with smoke coming out of the car. Dean Sumner salvaging 6th, but not really in the fight today. Chris West, 7th overall, so at least this weekend he put some points on the board, but it's been a struggle in the car, which is obviously down on power. Great result, 8th for Kieran Hall, and leading rookie on both days. And after crashing on day 1, Glenn Inkster will be glad he came back to score points in 9th. Sloane Cox still a way to go, but at least he got the Evo 10 up to pace with the top 10 finish. Ben Jagger pushing hard on the stage, moved to 13th, take first and 2-wheel drive in the first Fiesta.
Well, Ben was lucky to get through that previous corner, a little bit wild, but he got through. Well done, Ben. And now he's in the lead of the Fiesta Challenge.
Rob Wiley lost the place to the young Northerner on the stage, but comfortably first in the classic cars.
Well, he's done well, but wouldn't it be good to see some of the other classic cars that are sitting in garages now join the championship?
You should get your Corolla out of the garage for next year, Roger.
Maybe we should.
So, talk about a hard-fought battle today, but Hayden Patton comes out on top. Dramatic finish. Hawkswood lucky to finish in 3rd overall.
6th place for Dean Sumner, 7th for Chris West, but great to see Hall 8th and first rookie.
Jensen moves ahead of Marston on that last stage. Ben Jagger takes out the Fiesta 2-wheel drive battle, just 2.1 seconds ahead of Wiley. So Hayden Patton closes the gap and is first over the ramp in the octagon.
We're all ecstatic, not just for John and I, but the whole team. Like, there's been a lot of hard work in the last 12 months, and it has felt like a while between drinks. But we're back on top. You know, we struggled a little bit in places, but all in all, you know, our speed is improving.
We won the first stage this morning, which was good, and then, man, those stages are pretty fast up there, and the Mitsies are pretty good in that stuff. So, you know, as much as I was pulling finger, I couldn't quite get there. So, you know, like we were hoping that the last stage today was going to be our saving grace, and it just couldn't put it together.
Andrew, after all the problems in the last stage, but you came home 3rd.
Yeah, I can't believe it. Like, you know, once we hit that pole, I thought it was all over, but, you know, it pays to, you know, just get straight back on the starter button and just keep going like hell, and you never know what's around the next corner, you know.
So let's check out the overall points now. The Vantage Aluminium Joiner in New Zealand Rally Championship. Mason still on top and now only 10 points behind Hayden Patton.
And Ben Jagger, the leading 2-wheel drive driver.
And after a scary finish, Andrew Hawkswood moves up to 2nd in the open class, but well behind leader Jeff Argyle.
Matt Summerfield is proving very effective in the Skoda with a 21-point lead over Reg Cook in open 2-wheel drive.
And the junior ranks Matt Jansen with a 21-point lead over Josh Marston. But look at Ben Jagger, excellent in 3rd in that little wee Fiesta. So as the champagne sprays, we look forward to round 3, the International Rally of Whangarei.
Continue.